What's up, Ravens Flock? I'm Cassie Calvert, and today I'm joined by Bradley Bozeman, who's going to be taking your questions, so go ahead and start commenting them below. All right, we're headed into the final week of the regular season, and this game doesn't mean anything for the Ravens' playoff hopes, which is not something fans have been used to the past couple of years. What does it feel like knowing you're going into this game, #1 seed in the AFC, locked up?
Definitely a great feeling going in, but, we still want to win this game. 100% we would be 1-0 at the end of this week, so guys are stepping up, and a lot of guys are sitting, but there's going to be guys to be able to step up and have opportunities. So it'll be a good game for us.
And for some of those guys, it's a good opportunity to showcase maybe with more playing time what they don't get to see throughout the rest of the regular season.
Right, for sure. So everybody will get an opportunity. Those guys that are able to step up in the roles of guys that are sitting have a great opportunity to go out and showcase what they can do.
And of course, it's the Steelers, so it obviously means a little bit more for us always as the Steelers rivalry. But do you remember the first time you played in like a Ravens-Steelers game, what that feeling was like?
Yes, so it was last year in Pittsburgh, and the place was just nuts pregame. And then we get into the game, it was a tight game all the way, and then I think we ended up pulling out the win. But it was one of the most electric games I've ever been a part of. And then obviously this year, the nail biter that came down to the field goal, that was ridiculous. So I mean, it's been a lot of fun games, and I'm sure this is going to be the same way.
It's one of those games that no matter what the team's records are like when they come in, it's always going to be a good game, no matter how the rest of the season's gone.
Right, for sure. It's going to be a physical game. We're going to get after it. They have a lot of good guys up front, and we're going to go out and get after them. So be ready for it. So
I love that. I think one of my favorite quotes from Harbs is he says, "You're not a true Raven until you beat the Steelers," and that always stuck with me. I love that.
Right.
So one of the most unique things about you that I'm not sure a lot of fans know is that you and your wife Nikki live in an RV.
Yes.
So how did that come about initially?
So me and my wife like to travel, and we wanted to tour the country. And so we're like, well, what's a better way than to get an RV and drive cross country? We have 2 dogs, so you can't really fly them everywhere. So we wanted to bring them along with us. And we're like, well, let's just buy an RV, and then we'll go in the off season. We'll go place to place. We didn't feel like we were comfortable enough to buy a house here yet, and we're like, well, we'll skip out a lot of rent and save a lot of money by having an RV. So went and bought the RV, and we about 2 months down the road, we're like, why don't we just live in it? And she's like, no, we can't do that. And then we kind of just kept playing with the idea, and then finally we did, and we found a great place to park it, and we're saving a lot of money in rent and having a great time.
So you like it? It's worked?
Yes, it's worked. It's worked so far.
Do you ever feel like you guys are just like too close? Does it ever create any problems or anything?
Not really. I usually just go outside if everything's too tense. So so we can make our space.
I love that. That's very unique. All right, we'll take our first fan question from Derek. He said, how do you feel about your performance this season and your role moving forward?
So I feel very strongly about my performance this year. I feel like I played very well. Definitely have some things to work on and want to grow as a player. Hopefully I can continue that path.
You touched on this a little bit, kind of not knowing where you stood at the beginning of the season. Like in training camp, that was kind of what's this offensive line going to look like? And you guys have done such a great job this season. You've really solidified your role. What's that process been like for you?
It was just going to work for me. I've bought into the media hype of things before. That didn't turn out well at all. But my whole thing is I work hard and I bust my butt, and I put my nose to the ground and don't pull it up until the work's done. The work's not done yet. Everybody's job is able to be taken at any point. So all these guys here are pros, and I continue to try to perfect my craft and continue to grow as a player.
That's a great mentality. Speaking of your O-line group, Greg asked, how much have you learned from number 73, having a guy like that around all the time?
It's unbelievable. I'm very grateful to have Marsh in our room. Just the little things you see from him and just the work ethic that he has. That guy, he's a 13-year vet, I believe, 13, 14. Yeah. And he comes into work every single day. He never takes a play off. He always comes in ready to work. So that's a great mentality for me to pick up and roll with as I continue through my career and hopefully have a long career and kind of emulate what Marshall's done. So
he seems like he's like really having fun this year too. Like he's really bought into this team spirit.
Yeah, he has. Marsh he cuts up. He has a good time. So it's been a lot of fun with Marsh this year. So.
Josh asked, "How's the Rolex?"
The Rolex. It's I haven't got
not wearing it today.
Wearing it right now.
It just came from practice, so we'll let it slide.
I got a few links to it, but we'll get to that very soon.
I have to wear it for special occasion, maybe like Super Bowl party, that kind of thing. If we get there,
not gonna say that yet. Yeah.
Knock on wood. I love it. Were you surprised? Did you have any idea those were coming?
No idea. We knew we were going to have something good because he had been talking about it for a little while. So He really surprised all
He
of
hooked
us.
it up.
So he did.
Was it just in your locker when you came in?
So we walked in and he had the box of Rolex and he's just like handing them out. I'm like, okay,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
That's awesome. All right, from Patrick, your 93 yards in the NFL all-time rushing record. How would it feel to make history like that, especially against the Steelers?
It would be awesome. I mean, this team's worked incredibly hard this whole season, and that's a testament to everybody. It's to the O-line, it's to the receivers, it's to the tight ends, running backs, and especially Lamar making it all run, and then Giro and all the coaching staff. So I mean, this is a whole, just a combination of everybody, and we're grateful that we're sitting in the situation we are to possibly do that against the Steelers. So
it's pretty incredible. Another record for this incredible record-breaking season.
Right.
That's awesome. All right, we'll take our next fan question from Blake. Who is your best friend? Switch it up a little.
Who is my best friend on the team, or?
I think you could take that, interpret it however you'd like. Maybe on the team and just in general.
So I really have 3 best friends. 2 of them are back home, and one's from Alabama. But it's Connor Boyd, Shaquan Glass, and Cooper Bateman. Those guys are my 3 best friends. But played at Alabama with Cooper Bateman. He was a quarterback there, and then grew up with Shaquan and Connor, and those guys have always been there for me and still there for me today. So
that's awesome. Do they get up here a lot to see you
actually,
play?
Connor's here this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, excited to have him up.
Will be really special then.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, maybe on the team as well.
On the team, okay. On the team, Zach got traded, so.
Yeah, you guys are really close.
Yeah, me and him were really close. I mean, we're close with all the guys. Especially the O-line group. The whole O-line groups they're a bunch of my good friends. So.
It's a really close-knit locker room for sure.
Yes, for sure.
From Braden, were you surprised by the chain that a fan made for you? Your little Bozeman chain?
Yeah, so he texted me or messaged me on Instagram, and he said, I'm in a ceramics class. I want to make you a sign. I'm like, okay, awesome. And so he sent me pictures, updated me along the way, and I'm thinking it's going to be like that big. And then I get to the stadium, he sends me a message, it's like, hey, I have it ready for you. I'm at the walk where you walk in. I'm like, okay. So I walked over there, saw him, and it is this huge sign. And I just threw it on my neck and walked in, and
I loved it.
Yeah, it turned out pretty
a little
good.
Swaggier than even Hollywood's because it's bigger.
Right.
Got the bigger one.
Right, for sure.
Did Hollywood or Lamar give you any feedback on your
No,
chain?
I don't think so. I think they're a little jealous. But.
From Jason, who is the strongest guy out of all the offensive linemen?
Probably Marshall.
Really?
Marshall, I mean, the guys, he works out every day, or not every day, but he works hard every day. I mean, the guy is just ridiculously strong. Never seen a guy be as strong and balanced as he is. So. Is
there anything that surprised you about him as you got to kind of learn underneath him and get to know him better?
Just his balance that he has. I mean, I don't know if you falling through a window is whenever you completely whiff on a defender, and you kind of almost fall on your face. Well, I saw Marshall last year do that. He whiffed on a guy, touched the ground, came back, and still made his block. So I mean, the guy is just unbelievably athletic. So that was one of the most incredible things I've seen in football.
I feel like people don't really get that, even linemen, there's a high level of athleticism that goes into that. You think about that for the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, but for O-line too.
Right, for sure. We're not just stomps out there. We have to move around a little bit.
All right, we'll take one more fan question from Deneen. What do you do to stay in shape?
So we work out 4 days a week, play football, we get after it and get ready to go. So.
What's that like in the off season for you? How do you kind of maintain that when you're out of the building?
Off season is a lot of healthy eating. We're working out 3 to 4 times a week. A lot of conditioning, a lot of weightlifting. Just going out and trying to perfect our craft and continue to work our skill sets.
It's a year-long process.
No doubt.
Any message you want to share with the fans before we sign off?
Just thanks so much for the support. Thanks for everything you do for us, and go Ravens.
We'll see you guys at the bank on Sunday.